Going to turn now to Gerald Huebner. Gerald chairs HSLDA Canada, as I mentioned earlier, and HSLDA Canada is 30 years old this year, so it's somewhat similar to HSLDA USA. It's been around for a long time, and there's a lot of history there. And Gerald has been on the board of HSLDA Canada for much of its history. So, Gerald, if you could tell us a little bit about your story with HSLDA, maybe with homeschooling as well on a personal level, and also how you've seen HSLDA Canada grow over the years.
Thanks, Peter, and it's great to be part of this panel of friends and partners from around the world. Our family, my wife Bev and I, started homeschooling in 1989, a long time ago, with our two children. We home educated both of them all the way through their school years, and our story, I think, was similar to many in that we started because of a particular challenge with some educational challenges with our son, and we saw that home education was something that might offer some solutions for us as a family. We thought we'd try it for a year, and we did, and we tried it for another year, and then went all the way through. It was something that we experienced the joy that Gazelle you talked about, the that family closeness, those things that go beyond the textbooks, and the learning that we just so much appreciated in our lives. And a large part of what we've been doing since then is just wanting to share that joy and wanting to see others continue. I've said many times that I was pretty convinced that we would be able to homeschool through our children's homeschool years and be able to do that without huge challenges. But I was not at all confident on whether it would happen in such a way that my grandchildren and my great grandchildren would be able to have that same freedom and that same choice to be able to freely choose to educate their children. And so my reason for continuing to be involved is really that it's that generational legacy to be able to be able to pass this on. We now have four grandchildren that our daughter is home educating, and it's exciting to see that our role has changed. At the time when we started homeschooling, we didn't know about we didn't know other homeschool families because there really were very few of them. There was no conference to get together and see things in our province. We got involved in leadership in our province, uh, in large part to try to get some of those things started, and we remain involved today and connected today. We were involved in discussions in the early 1990s, and as Peter said, HSLDA Canada started 30 years ago this year, and we were at that point saying, could we do something on a national basis in terms of a legal organization? And HSLDA Canada was formed in 1991. That's 30 years ago, and it's sort of the thought would be we've solved all the problems. Not nearly. We regularly sort of get the comment from homeschoolers in various provinces who say, "Well, why do we need this? The government is nice. They're sort of taking care of us and looking. We're able to do this. Why do we need a legal advocacy organization?" And I would say that there's a distinction between legality and ease or practicality. There's a lot of times when something may be legal, but not very possible. There's a lot of times when something is technically legal and you can do it, but it's very difficult to navigate. And the things that are being thrown up and put in place make it challenging and difficult. So our organization certainly looked at the legality, and it was not technically legal in all parts of Canada when HSLDA Canada started. It is now. But it isn't, even to this day, it's not always easy or practical or something that is consistent. So we are really in place to support that advancement of homeschooling to make it possible everywhere for everyone. Uh, when we look at organizations, and we particularly look at the organization of HSLDA US, it's a big organization with many staff and now over 100,000 members. Canada is much smaller. We have less than 10,000 members in Canada, but I think we're getting by. But it's even an organization like HSLDA Canada to many countries looks like a big complex organization, but we started small. We started with one part-time person that was working for us, and I would just encourage you not to be overwhelmed by the big organizations and the things that are being done in other places, because virtually all of them started small. We look at big conferences that are organized in the United States for massive crowds of 5 and 10,000 people. I suspect that if it's like anywhere, those conferences started with probably 5 or 10 or 20 people and grew from there. And I think don't be afraid to start small and do what you can, because it does make a difference. The need is there. The need is there for an organization. My role has been not in the administration or the legal aspects in HSLDA Canada. I'm on the board and have been for many years. Our role as a board is really governance and setting the high level direction. We choose the leadership of the organization, and our role is largely one of the vision, and and our job, I think, in large part, is to be the cheerleader for the CEO and for the organization, to be able to encourage them to do the great things that they can do. One of the things that I've learned is that it's more than the staff of the organization. It's more than the paid people that work directly for the legal organization. We depend in a huge way in the grassroots. In Canada, we don't have a national Department of Education. We have provincial responsibilities that are constitutional in education. So each province has its own responsibility. And there's two things we've learned. One is that uh, a national organization is powerful and important, but local voices and local information and local efforts are crucial. Because there's a lot of times when a local organization is some if HSLD or national lawyer calls, they get their backs up. They get somewhat intimidated many times by that kind of level. But if a parent, and particularly a homeschool mom, contacts them with some reasonable requests, it has an impact. Something that a politician shared with me a number of years ago that's stuck in my mind. They said that nothing stirs fear in the heart of a politician more than the wrath of a mother. And I think that a lot of people don't necessarily realize the power and the strength of the voice of people that are out there and directly impacted. They're people that are impacted by this because it's their family, but they're also impacted by this because and have impacts because they are voters. They vote in the people that they're talking to, and that's very important in terms of having a voice, because the politicians don't necessarily hear from a lot of normal affected people. They hear from a lot of lobbyists and a lot of organizations, but it's important. And a big part of what we do is equipping, encouraging, and building those leaders and those parents throughout Canada, which is a big country. And we think that that's really the backbone of much of what we do. Yes, we have staff. HSLDA Canada now has. I'll let Peter fill in the numbers better because he's the president. But we have about 6 full-time staff and probably 20 or so contractors and part-time staff. We're not huge, but I think with the team that we have, it's been very effective.